Hey everyone, today I'm taking on a personal challenge that I want to share with you. If you've ever felt completely overwhelmed by anxiety, stress, and the noise of everyday life, I think you'll be able to relate. You know the feeling when your mind races a million miles an hour and you're unable to focus on just one thing without being bombarded by everything else around you. It's exhausting. I've been there. I know what it's like to wake up each morning with the weight of the world on your shoulders, constantly thinking about all the things you have to do, the people you have to please, and the future that feels so uncertain. The constant worry, the fear of not measuring up, and the pressure of society's expectations, it can feel like a never-ending cycle. But here's the thing, I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be this way. Life doesn't have to feel like one endless battle against stress. You can find peace, clarity, and balance. It's not just wishful thinking, it's possible. Over the next week, I'm going to challenge myself by applying 8 Buddhist principles to my life to see if they can actually make a difference in overcoming this mental noise, breaking free from stress, and finding lasting peace. These principles aren't just theoretical ideas, they are practical tools that can change the way we deal with anxiety and stress. I want you to join me on this journey because I believe if we can shift our mindset, we can transform our lives. Before diving into the Buddhist principles, it's important to identify the problem we're facing: anxiety and stress. These are not just abstract concepts, they are real present forces that affect every aspect of our lives. They shape how we think, how we feel, and how we react to life's challenges. Anxiety isn't just a passing feeling, it's a pervasive condition that can feel like a heavy burden. I remember the constant worry about things that might happen in the future: work relationships, life in general. The fear of failing, of not measuring up, or not being good enough can be paralyzing. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the weight of the world and think, am I ever going to get out of this cycle? But the truth is, we don't have to stay trapped in that mental fog. The key is to change how we respond to life's pressures. The 8 Buddhist principles I'm going to share can help us transform our relationship with stress. They give us tools to quiet our minds, reconnect with ourselves, and create a life where anxiety and stress don't control us. Let's get into the 8 Buddhist principles. These principles aren't just philosophical, they are practical tools that have helped millions of people cultivate mental well-being. I'm going to dive into each one, exploring how they can be applied to our everyday lives and how they can help us break free from anxiety and stress. The first principle I want to explore is mindfulness. You've probably heard of mindfulness before, but I'm going to show you how powerful it really is. In today's world, we're often so caught up in our own thoughts, worries, and tasks that we lose touch with the present moment. We think about what's next or what's already happened, but we rarely just are. Mindfulness is about being fully present in the moment, paying attention to what's happening right now, and observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. It's about creating a space between what's happening and how we react to it. Why it works. Mindfulness allows us to step outside of the constant chatter in our minds. Instead of reacting to life from a place of anxiety or fear, mindfulness helps us observe our thoughts and emotions without getting consumed by them. It gives us the mental space to make choices, rather than just reacting impulsively to what life throws at us. Real life example. I had a big presentation at work, and as usual, I started to feel the anxiety creeping in. What if I mess up? What if they don't like my ideas? But instead of letting my anxiety take control, I paused. I practiced mindfulness, took a few deep breaths, and brought my attention to the present moment. It didn't remove my nervousness, but it helped me focus on the task at hand, and I felt much more calm and in control during the presentation. Mindfulness is powerful because it allows us to be present and not get lost in our worries. It is a tool that helps us respond to situations with clarity and calmness rather than reacting out of fear. The second principle is about letting go of attachment. We live in a society that teaches us to hold on to things that give us security, things that give us meaning. But what we don't realize is that sometimes our attachment to things, whether it's people, possessions, or even certain emotions, actually holds us back. We get attached to our past old relationships, past mistakes and failures. We hold on to fears about the future, thinking we need to control every aspect of it. And we attach ourselves to ideas about who we are and what we should be. These attachments weigh us down. Why it works? Letting go of attachment is about releasing the grip these things have on us. We stop clinging to things, to people, to expectations that no longer serve us. We free ourselves from the past and allow ourselves to move forward, embracing the present moment without fear or regret. Real life example. I used to hold onto a toxic friendship because I was afraid of being alone. But I realized that this relationship was draining me and preventing me from growing. When I finally let go of the attachment to that friendship, I felt lighter and more at peace. It wasn't about rejecting the person, it was about choosing to free myself from a relationship that wasn't supporting my growth. Letting go of attachment doesn't mean we stop caring. It means we stop letting those attachments dictate our emotional state. It's about choosing freedom over fear. Gratitude is a transformative practice. It's easy to get caught up in everything that's wrong or what's missing in our lives. But gratitude is about shifting your focus to what's already good and abundant in your life. Why it works? Gratitude helps us reframe our experiences. Instead of focusing on what we don't have, gratitude trains our brain to see all the positive things that already exist in our lives. This shift in perspective is incredibly powerful because it increases our mental and emotional resilience. Real life example. One of the most transformative practices I adopted was keeping a gratitude journal. Every night I would write down 3 things I was thankful for. At first, it felt a bit forced, but soon I started noticing small moments of gratitude, like a beautiful sunset, a cup of coffee with a friend, or just the feeling of having a warm home. The more I practiced gratitude, the more I started noticing the good things in my life, and it helped me feel more content and at peace. Gratitude is about training ourselves to notice and appreciate the abundance around us, even during challenging times. The next principle is compassion. Often we think compassion is something we give to others, but it starts with ourselves. We can be so hard on ourselves, especially when things go wrong. We judge ourselves for our mistakes, for not being perfect, and we often don't show ourselves the kindness we deserve. Why it works? Compassion teaches us to be gentle with ourselves. It helps us acknowledge our pain and struggles without judgment. When we practice compassion, we learn to treat ourselves with love and kindness just as we would treat a dear friend. And when we treat ourselves with compassion, we can extend that compassion to others. Real life example. I remember a time when I was struggling with a project at work. I had made some mistakes, and instead of criticizing myself, I practiced self-compassion. I acknowledged that I was doing my best and that mistakes were part of the process. This shift helped me approach the project with a renewed sense of calm and confidence, and I ended up succeeding. Compassion helps us release self-criticism and find peace in the present moment. It encourages kindness, patience, and understanding for both ourselves and others. The next principle is embrace impermanence. Change is inevitable. We fear it, resist it, and try to avoid it, but change is the very thing that allows us to grow. Everything in life is impermanent. Our feelings, our situations, our lives, why it works. When we accept impermanence, we stop clinging to things and people that are meant to pass. We stop fearing change because we understand it's an inevitable part of life. Impermanence teaches us to live fully, to appreciate what we have in the moment, and to release what is no longer serving us. Real life example. For a long time, I resisted change. Whether it was a new job, a new relationship, or even a new city, I fought against it. But once I embraced the reality of impermanence, I learned to flow with life, knowing that nothing stays the same forever, and that's okay. Change became something to welcome, not fear. So there you have it, 8 Buddhist principles to help us transform our mental health and find peace. From mindfulness to gratitude, compassion, and embracing impermanence, these principles offer us practical tools to navigate life's challenges with clarity, calmness, and understanding. Remember, these principles don't work overnight. They take practice, patience, and consistency. But with time, you'll start to see real change in your life. You'll begin to feel more present, more peaceful, and more in control of your emotional world. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more content on how to live a peaceful, balanced life. Peace isn't something you find out there. It's something you cultivate within yourself. And the power to do that is in your hands.